This is the High School Football America podcast for July the 24th, 2020. I'm Jeff Fisher. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by GameStrat, America's premier sideline instant replay system with outstanding reliability, and it's got faster speed than Huddle Sideline. Plus, GameStrat has awesome customer service. They actually pick up the phone, along with different plans priced right for every coach's budget. And right now, GameStrat is offering a discount of up to $200, which means it's cheaper than Huddle Sideline. Plus, GameStrat is making it risk-free, and that's real important these days because if you make the switch right now and there isn't a 2020 season and there's a shot that could happen, your money rolls right into 2021. No risk, and you can't beat that. But you do have to act, and you have to act in the next 7 days. July 31st is the deadline. To get a demo, go to GameStrat.com or click on the GameStrat banner ad located on every page of HighSchoolFootballAmerica.com. All right, heading to Northeast Philadelphia, and this gentleman, head coach at Frankford High School, has been on the podcast before. His name is Bill Sytsma. He is doing a lot there with the football program that goes beyond just X's and O's. If you tuned into the podcast last year, you heard about that, and unfortunately, his program has been touched by some violence. We've got some stuff on here that needs to be talked about. He lost a young man, 15 years old, a player for the Pioneers. His name Angelo Walker, and Coach Sytsma has put together a GoFundMe to support his family as they go through some times that nobody even wants to think about. He was just riding his bike. It was earlier this month, and Coach is on the line right now. Prayers, obviously, and deepest sympathies to you, Coach, but we appreciate you coming on here because I think there's some things here that you can bring to light that really need to be talked about. Yes, COVID is tough and all that, but there's some reasons where football can help out. So welcome to the show.
Hi, Jeff. Thanks for having me back. Sorry it's under these circumstances.
Yeah.
But, I've been saying for a while now, COVID, with the COVID, some things are more dangerous to our kids than this virus is. And unfortunately, in a city like Philadelphia, with its struggles right now, violence is one of those things that far outweighs and is far more dangerous to our kids, our players, than this virus is.
Yeah. We've been talking to so many coaches in metro areas about that specifically, and we'll dive into that. But let's honor Angelo a little bit. I read some of the stories when this happened. Seemed like a really great kid. I mean, riding his bicycle. I mean, isn't that just something kids are supposed to be able to do? So can you share with the listeners around the nation a little bit of what happened that night, and then we'll kind of go from there on it.
Yeah, sure. I mean, Angelo is a 15-year-old. He just finished his freshman year of high school, and he, it was just around 8 o'clock, still daylight, doing what 15-year-olds do. He was riding his bike. He was about 400 feet from his house, and a shooting broke out, and a bullet found Angelo, not meant for him, and he died a few hours later. It's a complete tragedy when, like I said, he's a 15-year-old boy, just passed from 9th to 10th grade. Was excited about that, getting ready to hopefully have a football season, and his life just taken away from him from a bullet from a gun just fired at randomly. As far as they know it right now. Yeah,
Bill Sytsma is the head coach at Frankford High School, talking to him about some very tough things. I saw on your Twitter account, and I know I retweeted it, this is not in the coach's handbook, right? Just like COVID isn't in the coach's handbook. But what was it like for you to, work with Angelo's family and take us back? Again, I know it's hard to relive it, but what were some of the things that you did? Because my point of asking this question, I say this all the time on this podcast, is that coaches are more than coaches, especially in this day and age. So that's why I'm kind of asking you, so people understand what it is you guys do, which is yeoman work.
Yes. Well, I spoke to Angelo's mother that morning. That was one of the hardest conversations I've ever had in my life. The family is completely distraught And the one thing, I mean, she really struggled just to get through words, let alone sentences. And she just asked me, one, if I could handle. Obviously, there was a media firestorm. She asked if I could handle that for the family, and in essence, I mean, the family is grieving and need all the help they can get. So we did put together a vigil for them, and I thank the school district of Philadelphia, which was completely shut down at the time, really, got all the way up into the superintendent to where we could get something together at the stadium for the family and for the football team that was grieving, and then just trying to help the family financially to get Angela's burial taken care of and all the needs met, obviously, because, I mean, no family plans for their 15-year-old child. And he's one of eight siblings, the youngest of a very large family.
It breaks my heart. Angela Walker died earlier this month. If you go to highschoolfootballamerica.com, we have the GoFundMe link up there. If you can, anything helps. A couple of dollars, it all goes to a good cause. Bill Sytsma is the head coach at Frankford High School. You just heard what he had to do. And again, Coach, to build on that theme of it's not just, X's and O's. So you've got the family, the grieving family, and you also have young men who are looking to escape as well, your football team. What was the message that you had to deliver to that, and how's the team doing in light of losing one of its own?
That's the thing, and that I said. I mean, as coaches, as players, we go by playbooks. We have conferences, we have clinics, and we're taught and we learn from each other. And there's no playbook for this. There's no clinic. There's no guidance. And it just more, we had to get into family mode. Obviously, Angela's teammates were completely distraught. I mean, from the moment that it happened, I mean, I found out from my players that this had happened. I got a text message close to midnight the night that it happened with a link to just said 15-year-old boy shot. And kid just wrote, "Coach, that's Angelo." And, the quickest thing was to, try to, get the counseling that players may need. We got all that together right away the next day for the kids. And the biggest thing was just to be there for them and, deal with this as a family. We're still dealing with this as a family. We are still trying to get through this. And I mean, we will work hard every day to get through this and get these players whatever they need.
His name, Angela Walker, 15 years old, going to be a sophomore on the Frankford Pioneers. Bill Sytsma is his head coach. And Coach, unfortunately, this is not a one-incident thing. When you were on last year, you talked about the gun violence in the community and all that. And I know that, this is something that hits very close to home for you as far as trying to figure out how to help these young men. And I think one of the things that's not being talked about, and again, I'm going to preface this by saying, you and I both believe that COVID-19 is something that needs to be dealt with safely and all those other things. But without football, these young men don't really have that family you're talking about. And I was wondering if you could just spend a couple of minutes talking about the importance of having these young men, not that this may have been prevented by that or not, but having them together under your purview and under the structure of football and how that really works, because I think that message is getting lost, especially in the metro areas around America.
Absolutely. So, like I said, I definitely as coaches, we all understand the risk, and we understand that we are dealing with a serious virus that is new, that medical professionals, this is new to them, this is new to science, and we definitely understand all of that. And I'm not even saying, let's go play football games or whatever. However, I think where the problem was, we shut everything down. We sent everybody into their homes, and we really didn't give the kids a resource, and that's fine for an adult, but for say a 15-year-old boy, you're not going to shut a 15-year-old boy down months at a time.
Mm-hmm.
And, once school was, we did the last few months of school online, and then we really didn't plan for when that was over. What do we have for these kids, especially in the inner cities? Like, what do we have for these kids with everything shut down? And unfortunately, if we don't have things for them, they're going to do so like Angelo. He just rode his bike out onto the street. I mean, I do constructive things with my team that are not even football related. Like last year, we played video games in the locker room, board games. There are things that can be done safely for kids and still protect the vulnerable while this virus is still making its way across the nation. However, the powers that be, our elected officials, leaders, they need to allow people like us who can help these kids, who can get them safe, who can keep them safe. They need to allow us to do that. And unfortunately, they have not let us do that when they start shutting things down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Bill Sytsma on the line, Frankfurt's head coach, and lost a player earlier this month to gun violence. Angelo Walker is his name, 15 years old, just riding his bike, as you heard. And I'm not going to bog down this interview, but folks, go back and you'll see it also on highschoolfootballamerica.com, the interview from last year where Coach talks about some of the things he's doing. And I know at this point you are now back to practicing, but what I really wanted to focus on here is to try and get you guys some help, because you have a second GoFundMe page. One is for, obviously, Angelo and his burial and some of the expenses associated with that, but you also try to raise money to do something with the kids that you're talking about there. So let's talk a little bit about that GoFundMe so people know what it is and see if they can reach in and figure out how to help you guys.
So yeah, it's been a 2-year project. Like I said, we've been at Frankfurt. Like I said, we're in the heart of the inner city, so we struggle with a lot of things. So we've had an ongoing process of rehabbing our locker room to turn it into a safe place for these kids to go. We did complete a phase. We got it carpeted. We got some furniture, some TVs in there, and games with the first round of funding that came in. But this is an ongoing project. We want to turn this into a place like you see that athletes go to. Professional athletes, college athletes, their home where they're safe. Where they're safe is in their locker room. Mm-hmm. We're just trying to make our locker room that same exact place, a safe place kids can go to, feel safe, be a kid. Obviously, with football, but. Like I said, we turned it into something different where you can come there anytime, play video games, board games, just hang out with your friends. You're not in the streets. It's a secure location. You can be a kid and just hang out, have fun, and most importantly, you're safe from the streets and everything that's going on outside of the gates of our stadium.
Coach, what's the size of your program? How many kids do you estimate have come out for football as a result of your philosophy and your coaching staff's philosophy to get those kids off of the street? Is it a growing program that, since you've been there, and letting kids know that they're loved and there is a way to have a safe haven?
Yes, we are a growing program. We're from 9th to 12th grade. We have a JV and a varsity football team. Between the two programs, the last couple of years, we have had anywhere between 70 to 85 players in the entire football program.
That's nice. That is nice, and that makes it. I mean, that's 75, 80 lives out there that are getting something that they don't get by, And I'm not saying this is not a disrespectful comment, but just hanging out, right? I mean, there's structure to football, and that's what makes the sport so great. Bill Sytsma is on the line. He is the head coach at Frankfurt, and as you said, as you guys evolve through this, come through it, still grieving and all that, you are back to football now at this point. So tell me a little bit about that. Do you have some kids that you kind of can see, and you got to go in there and do a little bit more than just coaching X's and O's? So what's the practice been like so far?
So we are, we've had some great competitions. We have two sophomore quarterbacks that look really good. They're battling it out on the field. Our offensive coordinator, Tim DeGiorgio's, was doing a great job, especially in during the off season, during the downtime, keeping the offensive players educated, on the system, the new players. So when we are given a green light, we hit that field running. So we're not given a total green light, but that light's leaning yellowish towards greenish, where we can do some things on the field. And I really like what I see coming from the players, and that's the thing with kids, man. When you give them something to do, they're going to do it to the best of their ability, and they're going to shine. Yeah. And that's what we need to do, just let them shine.
It's all about the kids. Bill Sytsma on the line, the Frankford High School team in Northeast Philadelphia, mourning, but, unfortunately, as the saying goes, life goes on. PIAA has said that it expects the season to start on time. Of course, that has a lot of other factors with it, so that means that green light could come on August 10th for you guys, and you've done this with me before, so you know what I'm all about, right? Kids, coaches, schools, and communities, and you say you got a couple of young quarterbacks there, but let's get the kids smiling here that listen to this. You tell us some of the names, some of the kids that you're expecting leadership from, that you're seeing leadership from, whether it's on the field, off the field, in the classroom, etc.
Well, we're returning. We're returning 4 out of 5 of our starting offensive linemen. I got a senior guard, James Carroll. He's an all-public player. He's going to be the anchor and lead that line, because we will be young in the backfield, but very talented in the backfield. Right now, I have Matt Pellegrino and Anthony Torres Jr. One of them are going to win out that quarterback position, and so I'm really excited about that. We have a young, talented running back, Koye Simmons-Green, who we're definitely looking to get some carries in. Defensively, we got some new faces, but Coach Brockington brings a lot of energy. So I have no doubt that these players are going to be prepared, ready to go. We're just waiting on that green light. Well, when we have that green light, Frankfurt football, we're going to be there. We're going to, we're hurting, we're in pain, but when we're on the football field, we're about our business, and our coaches, our players, they're going to get down to business. I have no doubt about that. It's been a Frankfurt tradition for over 100 years, and we're going to keep that tradition going. When we hit that field, we're going to be ready. And
no doubt that the name Angelo Walker will be on everybody's mind throughout the season when that season starts. Bill Sytsma, one of the things that we talked about last year, and I'm going to have you kind of be the ambassador for the Philadelphia, school district there, the public league teams, that because it's not just you doing these great things, right, and keeping kids out of trouble and trying to give them some structure. Tell me a little bit about the coaching profession there in the city, and some of the other gentlemen that that should get a little bit of a salute too. You're here unfortunately because of a bad situation, but I'd love to get some of the other names and schools in there if you don't mind talking about that a little bit.
Absolutely. I really want to salute former Imhotep head coach Nick Lincoln, who's actually now moved on and is going to be the quarterback coach at Del Valle University. Nick and I have faced off against each other. He always had a great program, and he's really stepped up with and really passionate about the same issues going on in the city. And Nick started a program. It's called Beyond the Field. Mm-hmm. And Beyond the Field is high school football players and high school football coaches. We come together. This started during the pandemic. We meet weekly. And we discuss the issues that are really affecting these kids. Obviously, the violence being the number one issue, and to really give these kids a say in solving the problem. Like, the problem's been an ongoing problem. It certainly hasn't been solved, and it's really affecting them the most. And I really admire Coach Lincoln for really stepping up and getting these kids. And these are great kids. You know, they're rivals. They play on different teams, but they're part of this team Beyond the Field. They're putting their heads together. We had our first press conference 2 days ago down at City Hall, covered by the local media. So, I mean, they're bringing positive attention to a problem that needs to change. And these kids are going to be the change. They are going to mentor, our youth programs that are in the area. And we have a lot of them. Philadelphia is a football city, and we have a lot of football players. So, one of the biggest things we came to is, like, at some point in your life, at a young age, you have a choice. You're either going to go in one direction or not. And it's all about who's mentoring you, who you're looking up to. So our football players, our high school football players, they're going to be the guys that these kids look up to. And we're going to make sure the road they choose is the right road. And it doesn't even have to be necessarily football, sports. It's just a mentor. Every life, they matter. Okay, every one of these kids, they matter. We're not going to lose them to the streets. We're not going to lose this war. We're going to win this war. We're going to win it with our players. And like I said, Coach Lincoln's a big part of that. I also really want to thank Coach Pat Montgomery from Boys Latin. There's another one who really echoes the same message of, defeating this war on violence. We're going to win the war. When I see kids like that, dedicated coaches like that, and the whole league is full of them, I'm really proud of it, and I'm confident that we're going to win this thing, and we'll win it for Angelo and every life that's been senselessly lost. We're going to win this.
We thank you for what you do, and I just wanted to wrap up with talking about Angelo. And Angelo, his life being cut short at 15 while riding a bike. It's beyond comprehension to most people. But I was just curious about this. Like you said, it's been so tough talking to the parents, talking to the kids, beginning the healing process and moving forward. What has not only Angelo's tragic death taught you about yourself, but all of the things you've been going through the years? I mean, there's probably some people out there going, well, why do it? I mean, there's that ignorance, unfortunately, in some people, and you guys don't make any money. I mean, if you broke it down per hour, it's probably pennies per hour. But the senseless loss of Angelo and some of the other things you've seen, what has that done to you, and how has it changed you as a person, improved you as a person, et cetera?
Jeff, one thing is coaches, and every coach worth anything, we always, we measure ourselves on wins and losses. That's how we do it. That's how we're defined. That's how we're remembered. We define ourselves on wins and losses. And the one thing that I've really learned, especially going through these, Angelo is unfortunately not the first player I've lost. I've redefined what a win is, and it's okay for a coach to do that. Mm-hmm. You can redefine what a win is for you and for your program. It may not necessarily be that win on the football field, but getting your players in, off of the streets for a game night, that's a win. Getting your players into a classroom when they're usually cutting. That's a win. Getting your players in the study hall, getting your players into college, those are wins. They may not be wins on paper, but those are wins that build your program, and those are wins that you will be remembered by. That's the biggest thing that I have learned since coming into Philadelphia and coaching at Frankford High School. You have to redefine exactly what a win is, because that's what we place our importance on, winning.
Yeah.
So make sure, as a coach, and if you're a new coach starting out, you define for yourself what is a win.
And as I've said to everybody who's wanted to listen over the last 10 years to me, folks, just keep replaying what Coach Sytsma just said there. For anybody that wants to yell at a coach because they didn't like a play call or something, it goes way, way beyond that. And there are tens of thousands of Bill Sytsmas out there doing this. Again, for little money, it's for the kids. And Coach, again, our deepest sympathies. And I just really appreciate you taking the time and talking about this, because I think there are so many messages you just put out there that are important for people to listen to, but more importantly, it's the kids that you're saving. So thank you for doing what you do.
Thank you for having me, Jeff. I appreciate it, man.
Again, please go to highschoolfootballamerica.com, check out the story, and donate to the Angelo Walker GoFundMe campaign, or why not do both and help out the Frankford football team. Bill Sytsma doing wonderful work there in the city of Northeast Philadelphia. And again, our prayers, hearts, and wishes of healing go out to Angelo Walker's family. The High School Football America podcast is brought to you by the great new app, Small Player, Big Play, an age-appropriate, sports-focused social media platform designed to showcase and connect the young athletes and their friends, the parents, and the coaches all coming together in one spot. On Small Player, Big Play, young athletes have the ability to utilize the app and share interests and accomplishments in this safe and highly secure social media environment. It features live streaming with game day highlights and, I love this part, lucrative fundraising opportunities for your school and your team. Download the Small Player Big Play app on Google Play and from the Apple App Store. That's today's High School Football America podcast, and I'm Jeff Fisher.